talk about Florida now and a crime wave. Broward County is no different than a lot of places in this country. This morning, a shooting left one man dead there, and last week, in an unrelated incident, a gunman opened fire at a kid's football game.
And we have some video of the aftermath of that. The Broward County Sheriff's Office is telling us that 2 children and 2 adults suffered non-life-threatening injuries. They've yet to confirm a motive here, but they, of course, are interviewing people who watched all of this unfold. And again, this is unfolding at a youth game, John, and it's not the first time.
And I never thought I'd be talking about this twice in a short time span with Jack Brewer, but he's coming back with us now. And we talked about this happening in Texas as well, Jack. We're talking about it happening in Florida now, where you live. What is it going to take to get adults to wake up and realize these kids are the future of this country? They are our legacy, and we're not doing enough to protect them?
Real accountability. I mean, you can't play music that talks about shooting people around 9, 10, 11-year-old kids and expect for things like this not to happen. You know, the very spirit that is behind many of these instances are really perpetuated through the culture. And you can go to these games, they're smoking weed in the stands. Coaches talk to the kids like they're grown men, cussing them out. The profanity that you hear at many of these football games in the culture is one that I'd never allow my child to be around. And so as long as you continue to allow that and create that, and there's no accountability for what people say or what people put into kids and what environment people create around kids, you're going to keep having these unfortunate disasters.
Jack, what also bothers me as a mother is, this is what's supposed to keep kids off the streets, and it's supposed to keep them healthy. It's, learning how to work in a team. There's so many positives for kids to be, part of youth things. That you would think this was the last place that we'd want to see this erupt. The violence is supposed to be, not on the field here.
Yes, it's supposed to be your escape. It was always my escape growing up. I tell you, I talked to my dad again, who coached me all my life, and I'm in tears talking to him about these situations. And like you said, so many single moms out there with these kids. And I can guarantee you a big portion of these kids are fatherless. And you have these men who are supposed to step in as mentors, as father figures in these kids' lives, but they're trying to tap dance on the line. They're trying to play in the gray area. They want to be in the culture, but then they want to instill discipline. They want to themselves speak the same way that these rappers and these thugs and these gangsters speak, but then they try to teach the men about being a man. Well, it doesn't work that way. You have to choose righteousness in order to get these kids out of these situations, because like you said, it should be their escape. This should be the one place where they're the most safe, and it should be the one place where they learn the most about becoming strong men.
Jack, there's another crazy story I want to talk to you about, and it seems like this is another situation where the courts or whomever is not keeping in mind the victim here. Her name is Piper Lewis, and she's a sex trafficking and a rape victim from Iowa. Now, the court, she killed her attacker, but they found her responsible, and they ordered her to pay $150,000 in restitution again because she killed her rapist. Now, fortunately for her, there's a GoFundMe page that's been set up. They've raised over, or I think twice that $150,000 mark for her. But how does the court system fail a young person so badly, where she was sex trafficked, she was raped, and then out of desperation, she kills her own attacker, and then somehow she's held responsible?
Because we're treating all sex trafficked victims the same way we treat prostitutes and other people that are victims of sex crimes. They need to update the laws and the policies in many of these states and these areas to really understand the changing world. This is a new world. Kids are exposed to so much at young ages. I heard that this young lady herself had a knife put to her and raped. And so to hold her accountable is disgusting. I tell you one other thing. If this had been a white cop killing a little girl or doing something to a black girl, you'd have people protesting and marching in the streets. But do they do that for this situation? No, because the same leftist mentality is trying to do whatever they can to put these convicts back on the street, or to bring resources to the families of folks who are just violent criminals. And that mentality has to change. At some point, we got to choose righteousness. Man, I pray for this little girl and thank God that she survived through this situation. But I feel very strongly that justice will prevail here, and she'll end up being a spokesperson for those who are sex trafficked around this country, because she should be. So we should all keep her in our prayers.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the GoFundMe page right now. The total is actually $373,000. The goal was $200,000. So this is, in a way, I guess, is a form of justice, but hopefully her name can be cleared as well.
And my sincere hope is she gets to keep that money and it doesn't go to restitution, that there's an appeal there and she gets a pro bono attorney, because she's only 17 years old and she's got a lot of trauma for the rest of her life this girl is carrying around.
Yeah, apparently they said she didn't take into account the fact that her attacker leaves behind children of his own. It's a crazy world we live in, Jack. And I know, you're always out there fighting the good fight. You're taking care of so many kids in all your good works, and we commend you for doing so. Always great to talk to you, Jack. Thanks for being with us.
God bless you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jack.